Greetings, my name is Danielle Palli, and I'm a nationally board certified positive psychology and mindfulness coach. And in a past episode, I talked about dealing with an adult bully in the workplace. But today I want to talk about what happens as an adult if you were bullied as a kid. And I was bullied throughout elementary school and middle school. And there were things that I experienced and worked through in adulthood. And I now work with people who had gone through that bullying and maybe are still facing some of those triggers and challenges from the past in the present moment. Now, there's 5 things we're going to go over today, along with some tips for how to begin to work through them. Number 1, self-worth and self-image. So if you were bullied as a kid and told you were too fat, too ugly, too this, too that, not smart enough, whatever it is, many people carry that into adulthood and they have a lot of self-loathing about what they look like. They're always judging what they're saying. And so the first thing we begin to work on in coaching is building self-worth, recognizing our strengths and values, maybe talking to our social network and building healthy relationships and asking other people to share what they love about us, what they see about us, and taking steps in the present to take some action around little wins that help build your confidence. The second one is perfectionism and people pleasing. Now, some of that perfectionism is you have such low self-worth that you're trying to always show, I'm good enough, I can do this. See, world, I am worthy. So we overcompensate. And then the flip side of that perfectionism is if I do everything perfectly, no one will notice me, no one will bother me. And unfortunately, it's hard to undo that perfectionism in adulthood. And so I usually tell people, dare to be average. It's okay. There is a good enough. It doesn't have to always be perfect. And we talk about ways to free up their lives so that if they make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. The third one, anxiety and depression, in particular, social anxiety. So for me personally, I never had depression, but I can tell you for a fact, I had some moderate social anxiety that I had to really work through. And so with social anxiety, it's that going out in public and you might be super friendly and then later ruminating on, oh, I can't believe I said that. Can't believe I did that. Feeling embarrassed in situations. And with social anxiety, we work on, once again, building that self-worth, learning to kind of put yourself out there a little at a time and realize that the whole world is not an unsafe place. Not everyone's a bully, and you're not going to necessarily be treated like you were in the past. And so it's all about building those social connections and developing a comfort in your own skin that you're okay with whatever happens. And then the fourth one kind of ties into that social anxiety would be isolation. Now, in general, some people are just naturally more introverted than others, but some people have become more introverted because they don't want to be seen because of what happened in their past. So we work on taking baby steps to build connections, put yourself out there, speaking up, and just allowing yourself to be seen and being okay with being seen. And the fifth one is how we deal with conflict. If you are like me, you avoided it at all costs. um, and then the flip side of that in relationships, we might want to discuss everything right away. We might have to solve this now. I can't let it sit because it's going to bother me. And maybe your partner, say in relationships, needs a little more time to process. So learning to handle conflict well. The other side of that might be becoming more aggressive because you feel the world's an unsafe place. You were bullied. So now your heightened senses when there's a conflict, you're more likely to lose your temper. So in this case, we talk about mindfulness, self-awareness, getting an understanding of what's going on emotionally, taking the pause, learning compassionate communication so that deciding when a conflict needs to be discussed, when to let something go, and how to have those conversations in a healthful way. So if you happen to have been bullied or you'd like to talk to me about working through some of these very specific issues, my information is at the bottom of this video. Thank you for joining me.